Hi all, today we have an exciting interview with Stephen Wahome about his experience in software testing. Stephen, how are you doing?
Hello, Christian. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Awesome. So, could you please give us a little background on yourself, how long you've been in testing, and what your current role is?
Okay, awesome. I'm Stephen Wahome, a quality assurance engineer. I've been in the QA space for over a little over a year now, and my journey into QA is quite interesting. So I started out as a software engineer and did this for about 2 years. And along the way, I got an opportunity to intern as a QA engineer. And this particular situation actually challenged me to always think from the end user's perspective. And from that point, I've never looked back. And one thing that I actually love most about being a QA is being the user's advocate. I'm forced to break the system before the users can break it and save the end user the frustration of inadequate software.
Yeah, I like that you get to break the software before the user actually gets to use it. So you
Yeah.
kind of mentioned it, how you got into software testing, starting as a software engineer and then getting that QA internship. So was the plan originally to get into QA, or did it kind of just opportunity presented itself and you decided to jump into QA head first?
I didn't have a plan at first. I jumped right into it and I loved it. I mean, who doesn't like to be an advocate? So yeah.
So you recently got your ISTQB Foundation Level last year. What made you decide to get it, and what was your preparation process like for the exam?
Oh yeah. So building on top of the first question, so when I joined this space, it felt more like a gray area to me. So
Mhm.
and two particular two particular pinpoints that stood out was test case prioritization and designing test cases effectively. And I always thought that there was need to test everything, which ideally is not effective. So this by taking the STQB Foundation certification, I was looking forward to clearing any getting clarity in these areas, and also to have it as a building block for further certifications. So my preparation for the exam was pretty straightforward. So I began out with reading the syllabus that we have on ISTQB provided by ASTQB. I then did the questions that are provided after the syllabus. And after doing this a couple of times, I was able to identify the areas that were still unclear for me and go back and review. And I must give a shout out to ISTQB because those questions are pretty nice. So you get to practice what you have on the exam, and get back there and read as much as you can till you get it right. So after that, I did the exam, and I mean, I passed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, including myself, share that perspective that those practice exams are extremely helpful to be able to get you ready for the exam. So on the ISTQB Foundation level, you kind of mentioned the test case prioritization. So what principles have you learned from the ISTQB Foundation level, and has how has it helped you in your day-to-day work?
So two things particularly that have stood out is, how we prioritize our test cases, focusing on the risk and, gauging it against the requirements, and also how we design the test cases. So I'll draw my inspiration on the black box test technique where, there is a way you have equivalence based partitioning. um, you do boundary value analysis, and it is just so these are just techniques that helps you to focus on a particular set of data that you want to test against testing everything. So for
Mhm.
example, to give some context on this, for example, if we are testing an input field where the age of the end user should be 18 years, with boundary value analysis, we would look at 17, age 17, look at age 18, and then look at age 19. So that's quite a good technique. And instead of, testing everything, you test at 50, age 50, you test age 100, that would be unnecessary. So yeah, that is one of the technique that has really stood out for me during my day-to-day testing activities.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would share that, the risk-based testing and using things like boundary value analysis have found immediately helpful. Yes, you're not testing 100 ages where you can only test, three or four or five. Probably saves you a lot of time in your day to day. So
Yeah.
you talked about further certification. So what ISTQB certifications do you plan on getting in the future, or what certifications would be helpful to your career?
Oh yeah. So ASTQB has so many certification on that catalog, but my eyeballs are on on two particular certifications. So with the boom of AI, it's short-sighted to look away from AI. So you have like tools powered by LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Cloud are already you know allowing you to generate test cases. And also, if we look on the other side, we have agentic AI where it is providing models where uh, you can give independent roles to those models to run the tasks. So it's very short-sighted to not look at AI. So my eyeballs are on those on two particular certification: testing with generative AI and AI testing, both of which are being provided by STQB, and that should be my focus for the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that it would be a little short-sighted to completely disregard all of AI. And I
Y-
like how you brought up like these AI systems can now generate test cases. It's a
Yeah.
big change in the testing field that you don't have to generate them yourself. So with your experience and your thoughts going forward, what advice would you give to software testers starting out or people who just want to even get into software testing?
So for any tester out there who is beginning out and they are very unsure where to start, I would say the STQB Certified Tester Foundation Level is a good place to get the footing. And the good thing with it is that it's pretty straightforward. You get to lay your bases well for further advancements in your career and more certifications. So I would say to them, stop second guessing yourself. Please go for it, and go for it head first, dive head in first. So one particular thing that stood out for me when I was doing that particular exam is that there are no straight answers. So you have to read, and you have to think critically as you answer those questions. So I would say, as you prepare for this exam, don't be in a rush. Take your time, and there's no need for a rush because there's no need you do it in a rush and then fail the exam. So take your time, read the exam pretty well, and go with a lot of critical thinking because that is what exactly the exam provides: critical thinking, and that is exactly a reflection of what QA actually is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I think at your point of like, don't rush it, you need to do some critical thinking. I think that's a really good point. Well, thank you
Absolutely.
for your time today, Stephen. This was great. I'm sure people really appreciate your thoughts, and people getting into testing will have a lot to learn from you.
Okay, thank you for having me, and have a good one.
Thank you. You too.